And the idea that, no, Jesus is enough, both in the soul care of the people that are doing ministry and in the burden for students, training them, empowering them, watching kids come to Christ, plugging like that all activates because Jesus is enough. The rest of it is just tools that we use.
Good.
So that's my hope.
I like it.
Working with the local church to take the hope of Christ to every student in the United States. This is First Priority. Now here are your hosts, Steve Chirico and Brad Skelling.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the First Party Podcast. I'm Brad Skelling. Back again.
Back again,
Back again.
Ready to roll.
Let's go, Steve.
And I am Steve Chirico, and we are glad you are here.
I'm glad you're here.
All 8 of you.
All 8 of you. Don't give you none of that stuff.
1,800?
Yeah.
Sweet.
It's growing.
I like it.
It's growing.
Glad
to
for
the
that.
point where we don't have a choice anymore.
I've never not wanted to be here.
Oh, really?
You're on a regular not wanting to be here. I drag you in here.
I don't know how you knew that, but
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm an open book, I guess. What do you want to know, people? What do you want to know? Send your questions, comments, and snide remarks to steve@fpofamerica.com.
Thank you, Brad.
And he will filter them because I'm not emotionally intelligent to handle.
Exactly. Well, on to the show today.
Wow, this is a great start to
on
the show.
to the show. What do we got today, Brad?
Man, I must have been on a 2-hour Zoom call already today.
I guess so.
We are looking at the 2023. We are well into January.
Yeah.
We acknowledge that. Kind of a typical, hey, new year resolutions, things of that nature. But it just didn't hit for us right at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And we said, hey, let's have this conversation anyway. So we're going to jump into that.
And look forward to it.
Talk about first priority, where we're going, what we're doing.
I look forward to it. So I understand you have some announcements, and I have a story time with Steve. So go ahead and talk to me about announcements.
I have an announcement.
Oh, an
announcement.
Singular.
First Party Scholarship, Student Leader Scholarship is up.
Is it on the board?
It is on the board.
Oh.
Firstparty.club/scholarship.
Can I apply?
It's right there. You may apply.
Sweet.
I filter those very well. So
Tim Bargo is listening right now
I'm gonna ask for
and
the birth
wondering about my 30th year as a senior.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. No, he knows exactly why you're still in high school.
I know. Me too.
Anyway, firstparty.club/scholarship. You can also scroll to the bottom of the homepage, click on leadership initiatives, and you'll find the scholarship link right there as well. Just a simple form for students to fill out. It can be for scholarships for college. It can be a gap year. It can be an gospel entrepreneurial idea, things of that nature. We love to hear it. And looking forward to that. April 15, I believe, is the deadline for that.
I was about to ask.
And we will award that probably by May 1st so that students can know what's going on, plan for the fall.
And Brad, most of our directors, most of our coordinators are aware of the scholarship because we've done it a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Is it the sort of thing that campus coaches can be telling their students about? Like, how far can this thing go in terms of layers?
Please share that with your student leaders. Obviously, the seniors. We want them to know you got a senior student leader out there who's going to go on to do whatever God is calling them to in life. It's not ministry necessarily that they have to go into seminary or something like that. It's, wherever God is leading them. It's going to be based more on their leadership. In that situation, what they've been doing for First Priority and in their school and in their community, things of that nature. It's a leadership scholarship, right?
Awesome.
And so to reward and honor them for that. But then, on the other side as well, if somebody has a gospel plan, entrepreneur, they want to go, start the new, water project or this, that, or the other thing, open to that as well. So whatever the case might be, send them our way, and we'll give out one $500 scholarship to a winner.
Good work.
May 1st.
Good work.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Sounds good. You got a story for us today?
I do. This one I'm connected to.
Okay.
I'm not always connected to him, but this one I am.
Yep. Let's hear it.
So a bunch of us who are in the midst of campus ministry, and that's First Priority, 9-month mission trip, just all those guys, right? We all find ourselves on the youth pastor pages where guys or gals are trying to build into the youth ministry culture,
Yep.
the world that we're in, that we live in.
You're talking about Facebook.
I am. I'm talking about Facebook. And Facebook's the one that has the major groups, but there's a couple other socials. You can get some of this on Twitter. You can get some of this on LinkedIn, but specifically on Facebook, there's one that's out there that we watch and that I get the posts that get pushed to me whenever they happen. And one of their leaders, Tim McKnight, seems seemingly a good dude. I don't know him, but when I watch what he posts, I think he's doing a good work. So Tim asked the question on this, and it was one of the larger response ones I had seen in a while, where a lot of people interacted with it. Like when I finally interacted, I think there were like 64 answers, right? But here was the question. Hey, if you are involved with, as a local youth pastor, if you're involved with a parachurch organization, somebody who works around schools, somebody who works around projects, what are your perceptions of that? Are they just a take organization? Are they a give organization? Have you seen both? Really asking a question. And so it's in our wheelhouse. We are not a parachurch organization, but we are a pro-church strategy, and we build networks that are pro-church. And so that John 17 uniting thing obviously is part of our language. And so I began to write up an answer. Hey, Tim, my name's Steve. And before I can finish my answer, up pops an answer from Will Sherman. And Will, for those of you who don't know, Will is one of our district leaders. He serves the Fort Worth district. And so Will begins, hey, I'm part of First Priority. You can find more about us about firstpriority.club. But our job is to bring greater benefit to the church, right? Our job is to be completely pro-church. And he listed out 3 or 4 things that matter, right? And as I'm reading, and Will's pretty active on social media, okay? But as I'm reading it, I'm realizing, hey, good 60, 70% of this is what I was going to write down too, right? So I fill in the blanks of my stuff, and hey, man, like Will, I also lead a First Priority. I get to do it on this level. I was a guy who got benefit as a youth pastor from First Priority before I was a guy that provided benefit. And let me explain that end of it, right? In my 20 years of being around this organization, my first 6 years, I was gaining benefit.
Me too.
So it was just neat that you had in this list of comments with a high interactive feed, you had both Will and, again, myself, not on purpose, but we were both hitting this pretty hard with, we unite the local church, right? Our job is united around the school and to bring benefit to the local church with new believers, networks of support, blah-de-blah. So I just thought it was neat that the story from 2 different parts of our country is even being told appropriately on social media.
I like it.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was just a cool aha moment for me. And I was like, dang, good job.
Nice.
Let's keep going.
That's right. Must be doing something right.
Yes, you guys are. Nice job. Chalk that up for 1.
One thing that we're doing right?
Congratulations.
Okay, sounds good.
And then you get a minus.
We're on Facebook.
Oh, you are?
That's the one thing we're doing right.
All right. And then you get a -4 for the podcast, so you're in the negative still.
I'm in the negative. Sounds like my life. I love it. I love it. What are we talking about today, Steve?
Well, 23 is here. Right? And we just need to not only kind of lay out some calendar things, but really just talk about purposes. Build some culture. Why are we headed in what direction? Not just the what. There'll be some what's in the midst, I think. But, some of the whys.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Where do you want to jump in?
Well, I want to jump in even just with we're going to talk First Priority specific, but I want to paint a big picture just for a moment, because with the DeMar situation with the Buffalo Bills, if nobody's, so I'm going to assume most people are familiar with that. Gentleman had cardiac arrest on the field, shut down the game. It got canceled, and they moved on. And just the outpouring of prayer that happened, people who probably aren't believers stopped and prayed to a higher power, right? And whatever that case might be. They prayed on ESPN, kind of a deal. And the USA Today posted a headline that talked about that situation, that said, even in probably the most secular moments of American history, prayer rose to the surface. And just talked about that in a USA Today article. You can go back, probably find that article. But when I heard that in church on the following Sunday morning. Our preacher spoke about that USA Today article. And it definitely painted a picture to me of what the students in the church or in the schools are dealing with. They're increasingly secular. They're facing all of the pressures of the world. They're being tempted and enticed by all the pressures in the world, and they're believing it, right? They're, hey, I can do whatever I want. I can do whatever I want, all this kind of stuff. But they're also increasingly open to the spiritual. It's rising to the surface. The Holy Spirit is called the Comforter. But when you're comfortable, you don't feel like you need a comforter.
Yeah, good.
And even in the secularization, I feel like this generation is, because of that, uncomfortable. Because they're realizing the world isn't going to ultimately offer the answer that they're looking for. That God-shaped hole in their heart is not being filled by the social media platforms. They're not being filled by followers and tweets and all the different things out there that the world has to offer. And so wanted to start out that way to say, what does 2023 look like for First Priority? I think it looks like revival. I think it looks like a group of students saying, hey, we're ready to be serious. We're open to this conversation. Let's have it. Let's do it. And yeah, obviously we believe Jesus is the answer. We know Jesus is the answer. And let's continue to empower students to reach students in their school, because this is a moment that we've been waiting for.
Well, and I'll jump on that. We've been in conversation as a national office, and then you start to trickle that down to chapters and districts. And one of the common themes is the question, how many student leaders do I really need to start a club?
Yep.
Like, we know the what of that, right? We know that, man, you've got 4 to 5 segments in the epic that you really need, and gosh, you need 4 or 5, maybe even 8, right? You got, but the why in that is actually you just need one. You need one student who has a burden and is called to their campus to reach it for Christ. Yeah. Because that one Pied Piper can lead 30 into the club. And we, on a local level, have experienced that multiple times already this year.
Yes.
Where it took one middle schooler who came into either the school year from a camp, right, or came into the new year from a break in a winter moment and said, my campus. Yep. Right. Jesus put me here. I'm not here on accident. I'm not an accident. Right. And so the idea, I think revival sometimes gives us we need 10,000, right, ready to roll. Yeah. Right. That's just revivals. It's big. It's awesome. And that's great. But the reality is what we're talking about revival is that students are feeling a burden for their campus. And in the midst of that burden, they're feeling a calling.
That's right. That's right. It's good stuff. I'm excited to see what the Lord does this year.
Me too.
All of that. So encouragement to you all out there. I don't know if you feel the same thing. I hope that is true. But yeah, to echo what Steve's saying, First Priority is a tool, right, to empower all of this to happen. But a reminder to all of us, if you're checking the meeting box and you're showing up to club and doing your thing and walking away from it again, rather than being on mission, I'd encourage you to stop for a moment and just remind yourself why. Why are you here? Why are you part of First Priority? And be ready for that opportunity when the Holy Spirit, the Comforter, is, those students are ready for him and can change some lives.
Super good.
It's good. We could end the podcast right there.
No,
we'd preach. Preach it.
Nope.
Let's go.
Nope. What else you got for us?
We got just some details about First Priority, right? What does it look like for First Priority in 2023? You want to start with the what we call the accountability chart.
Yeah, probably should.
Okay. So I guess most people call it an organizational chart. In the traction world, we call it an accountability chart. So it's just who is accountable to who in the system, the staffing of First Priority of America. As of January 1st, we hired a new part-time staff member, which I am super excited about. His name is Del Wright. He's been in the ministry world for many, many, many years. 30 plus years. Yep. Worked with FCA, has done some leadership coaching and training of his own, and is now on staff as our Executive Vice President of Expansion.
Good.
And so taking over one of the boxes from Mark Robbins. He still has 2 spots on that chart, but taking that role over with him, working with Warren, who as Warren goes in to raise funds, to follow up with the staff needs, to meet those staff needs, to coach them. He's bringing a wealth of knowledge.
Yes.
You and I have both already been in several meetings with him this year, our quarterly review. I was in Kansas City with him as he met the Kansas City team over there. I'm super excited to have him on staff and part of who we are and what we're doing.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yep.
We've also added And it's not an ad, it's just kind of a shift, but we've also added the chapter consultant part-time with Larry Franks.
Correct. If you were at Fall Conference, you heard us talking about those two positions specifically, that those were our targets. And yeah, we brought Dell on for the expansion, and Larry is going to fill in beginning the chapter consultant role. That's the title that we've given that. And that's just to walk with chapters as First Priority continues to grow and expand. First Priority of America is developing these districts and working with Traction, the EPIC model, all of these things that we're doing. We're having more of our directors saying, "Hey, I want what you're doing."
Yeah, correct.
And what would it look like for us to walk together in that? And so Larry's going to develop that. Some of the broad strokes we can talk about are Traction. Hey, yeah, we'll help you walk through Traction. Let's walk through that. Let's set some annual goals, some quarterly rocks, figure all that out, get the language down, and then Larry's going to develop the depths of that from there this quarter. So,
which really is a good hand in hand, because Larry will continue to train when we need to have trainings for coordinators and directors. But the reality is it gives him some gaps where he can start to fill in the blanks with that. So those things go hand in hand really well. I'm excited for that addition as well.
Me too. It's good stuff. Continuing to put more people on the team, the right people in the right seats, as they say. It's just super exciting to have them on, both Dell and Larry. Larry playing this new role again, and Dell joining. It's going to be a good year.
Yep. So let's talk about a few things that are going on this year.
A few things that are going on. We've been talking about districts for a long time. And yeah, again, just for our language, to talk to people, a district is a First Priority community, a network that's using First Priority of America's 501c3. So we directly raise the funds with First Priority of America, hire the staff. They're on staff with us in the national office. They're just out in the field. And again, that is as opposed to, and they're not opposing things, but the other language is a chapter, which
is what I lead in Greater Nashville.
You are a chapter in Greater Nashville. You're on staff with First Priority of Greater Nashville, and you are your own 501c3. You're just in covenant relationship with us.
Correct.
We just signed paperwork that says, hey, we're going to keep the main thing, and the good to great model. We're gonna be great at taking the hope of Christ to every student. And so, you're the chapter. We've been talking about districts for a little bit, but the two that we're focused on this year are Justin and Jeff in the Ozarks and in Cincinnati.
And now you just confused everybody. So Justin Terrio is in Cincinnati.
Did I?
Yes, you flipped him. And Jeff Stanford is in the Ozarks.
It's been a long day.
Yeah, it's okay. No problem at all. Mm-hmm. Yep. So those two are our two that we see coming. One of the reasons I think that we want you guys to be involved in that is the reality is that relationship wins.
Yep.
And we want to be able to open the door for those two incredible human beings. Jeff is a guy who did many years of ministry down in South Florida.
Yep.
Walked with Chris and Fred faithfully.
Yes.
Had a family reason to move up to the Springfield, Missouri area and is doing great.
Yep.
You talk about Justin Terrio. That's a guy who was raised in Nashville. He was our ministry director, 21 and part of 22. And then in 22 made the big jump of faith to Cincinnati. And for lack of a better term, has planted Cincinnati as a district up there.
Yep, that's right.
It's been great.
That's right. So, super excited about those two continuing to work and build the foundation for those districts to come. I guess, if you say officially online or whatever you might say, just continuing to work the process, right?
Yep.
And making it happen. They're both doing their unique things to make that happen.
Yeah.
But they're also both still working on clubs. Jeff has 3 clubs up and running in the Springfield area. His territories, the Ozarks is big because it's a rural area. It extends down into northwest Arkansas. So there's a little bit of, when we talk about the district, there is some just different sections of that because northwest Arkansas and Springfield are 2 different states. So we'll divide that district maybe in half, or I don't know how they officially call that.
Did you say Springfield, Missouri?
Did I say Springfield, Missouri?
Did you say Springfield, Missouri?
What did I say?
Did you say Springfield?
I did. Oh.
Did you say Springfield, Missouri?
Oh, yeah.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, because your young man is going to play baseball there.
He's going to spend the next 4.5 years there.
Uh-huh.
I'm a little proud of that.
My condolences, Jeff, for all the time you're going to have to spend with Steve over the next 4 years.
We'll be there we'll be there very soon. That's great.
There you go. Super excited for Justice and for Jeff.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Both.
mostly for justice.
That's right.
Poor Jeff. Jeff has to spend time with me on the regular.
Exactly.
I like it.
Exactly. So yeah, that's those are new developments. Obviously, Warren has been working on that, helping to raise some funds and build relationships and network up there, looking for those influencers who care about the social, moral, and spiritual climate of this next generation. And we're just continuing to look for that. So I throw that out there to let you know what's going on in the districts and where we're looking. But if you know people in those areas as well.
Which is where I was going to go. Guys, remember the 5 networks, right? And how important it is to think about those 2 areas and connecting anybody that we have with the 5 networks of influence. So that would be my plea is, gosh, if you know somebody in that area, get on the phone. And if you don't have their contact information, get with Brad or I. And we'd really love to connect whatever network they're in. This is not just a fundraising plea. It is, right? But it's not. It's really about building the network support so that we can make the local church better as we do what we do.
Networking church leaders, networking business leaders, business organizations, teachers, Christian teachers in the schools, principals, all of the above. Let's, whoever we can network in those areas would be great. So.
All right, which draws us from there probably into some of the support things that we're going to do. What do we got coming up?
We got the spring meetings coming up. So every year in May, we do a couple evaluation meetings. This year is going to look very similar, but also different. So I want to split a few hairs, but I'm also going to say that it's largely the same. So our spring meetings, as people have known them in the past, they're going to happen May 1 and 2. Right. Nashville, Tennessee.
We're hosting that one. Glad to have you. Come on and join us.
That's right. Noon to noon is generally what we do. So you can drive in one day, have an afternoon of meetings. We'll go do something fun that night, and then get up the next morning, work until noon again, grab some lunch, and head back out again. Great. But we're really evaluating the year. What went well? What didn't go well? What do we need to work on? How can we continue to collaborate together? That's one of the favorite things. Like, I communicate with you on the regular, both as a podcast guy and as a district or as a chapter director. And we have our 24, 25 chapter directors out there. I'm communicating with them regularly. But I don't know your club coaches. I don't know your coordinators. I don't know the other people who are influencing with you. And that's one of the things I love about the spring meeting is oftentimes we get layers deep in there. We're meeting a lot of new people at these spring meetings. So if you're listening in on this, you are invited. Nashville, Tennessee, I only announced one of them, May 1 and 2. And then the next Monday, Tuesday, we'll be in Tampa, Florida. Amber Johansson is hosting that one down in Tampa. And should be both of them will be a good time.
Second week of May. Gosh, I'm skipping mine coming to that one. Amber, here I come.
Well, you can go to both. We can go to both together.
I'm staying at Robert's house.
There you go.
I'm staying in the pool, pool house.
That's right. The meeting will be in his backyard. I didn't tell him yet, but he's in.
Yes.
Might even cook us a filet while we're down there.
Nice.
But yes, invite the registration information should be coming in out on that soon. Susan and I are working on that information.
Great.
Getting the link up. It's not expensive. We charge a nominal fee just to come out and be a part of that, and just ask that you provide your transportation and hotel room once you get here. We'll provide a hotel for everybody to come to if they want to, but this day and age, most people have their preference of Airbnb or Mark Roberts' backyard or whatever the case might be. So we leave that open to you, but enjoy and have a good time. One of the things that we often talk about, in addition to evaluating at that meeting, is what's happening the following year. So right now, I just got off, as of this recording, a Zoom call with a ministry called One Hope, and 4 of our directors from around the country have joined me in that to collaborate and write next year's epic material.
Excellent.
And so we're having amazing conversations. I love where it's going. One Hope is going to bring some depth and perspective to us. We are laser focused. We will always be laser focused.
Yes.
But one of the things we don't do is study the culture. And they do. They study the culture to say, hey, what are the middle and high schoolers right now thinking and feeling? And they're even segmenting down, okay, they're a Christian, but we're seeing nominal Christianity and we're seeing all-in Christianity. And they've put personas to that and definitions and what are they looking for and what are they missing? And they're really going deep with all of that. And I'm super excited about how that will affect our content that we put out
Good.
to the clubs, and even asking us questions like, hey, this is for the student leader, but what can we do for the new Christian who just came back for the second time after Invite Week? And they're asking really good questions.
It's great.
Causing me to wrestle, us to wrestle, and be like, yeah, we know what we do, but we've never taken what's in our heads and put it on paper before. And I'm excited. So
good.
it's
Sounds
another
really
thing
good.
in 2023 that's happening for me.
Do you have an approximate date that you want that produced? And none of us are holding you to it because we know that things get pushed back. But what is your hope that that thing gets produced and is in our hands for trainings for summertime and into the fall next year?
I will say it this way. Our verbal agreement as a writing team, both First Priority side and One Hope
That's what I'm
side,
looking for.
is to have the theme for this year and the fall written, at least a couple months of the fall, written by May 1st, so we can have it at the meeting. So it'll be graphic designed, it'll be there, it'll be, I don't guarantee that it'll be ready on our app and all the other kind of things, but it is our goal as a team to put that in your hands on paper
During spring meeting.
during the spring meeting, so we can take a look at that and walk into that together.
Cool.
So,
thanks for getting way ahead of it.
Very excited about that. And so then the hair that I want to split here for a moment, because I said I was going to split a hair with the spring meetings, is those spring meetings are going to stay the same, and we're going to continue to do that. As district staff, so if you're a part of a district, we are doing a collaborative meeting all together the second week of June.
Oh, nice.
And they are all aware of that. We've had emails already. I've had personal conversations with each one of them. But that is going to be their specific district going through
sense.
traction, annual review. And we're going to spend 3 days together, probably 4, so we can have some fun too. But we're going to spend days together because that's what the traction model looks like and implementing that. And so that'll be very district specific. The normal meetings will continue to be normal meetings that we've historically said them. And I can't say that they're not going to be different because I am being so heavily influenced by traction, and I'm part of leading those meetings. And so they will be probably more focused than they've ever been as far as all of that goes, and intentional. Not that they haven't been before, but
nice.
It is going to be a little different, but
well, for following the ways of the calendar, you get into using Epic to go ahead and train, get everybody set up for the new school year. New school year launches somewhere in August.
Yep. And
that leads us to kind of the next moment where we can actually that's terrible. We can actually say, gosh, there's momentum built.
Yep.
And now it's time to celebrate. Now it's time to come together. So where is the national meeting happening this year, the national conference?
Nashville, Tennessee.
So we're back here again.
We're bringing it back to Nashville. Brought it down to Fort Worth. It was amazing.
Yep.
We loved it.
Yep.
But we're going to bring it back here. It's kind of one of those ebb and flows kind of thing, right?
Yep,
yeah,
great.
Let's get out there. Let's do this. Then I have to drive all the way to Fort Worth with all the merch.
So this is about you, is what you're saying.
This is totally selfish.
Great. 45 minutes from your home to the Nashville area versus 10 and a half, 11 hours.
Might even do it in a hotel in Spring Hill.
Interesting.
Yes. I'm having
Then 45 minutes from my home.
Correct.
I don't like that as much.
We're going to be a 3 minute. I'm only going to get up to about 30 miles an hour on my way to the national conference.
That's not Nashville, Tennessee then. You're down in Spring Hill. What are you talking about?
It's part of the bubble. It's the Nashville bubble.
Debatable.
Anyway, October 23, 24, 25 is the dates. So save those dates. Plan on coming. That obviously is a long way off. Registration won't start happening for that. We are making plans. The conference team is already having meetings talking about this year and what we're going to do, where we're going to go. So super excited about that. I will say we'll have Dell up in front doing some of his coaching that he's got going on. We're going to do a State of the Union again. Just like we always do. And we've got some fun activities that aren't set in concrete, so I'm not even going to entertain those things, but we should have some pretty good entertainment this year.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
So thinking outside the box a little bit there.
Well, so let's begin to land the plane today as you've walked us through 23. You started with prayer and revival.
Yeah.
And you gave us a pretty clear glimpse, and I jumped in there as well, right? Mm-hmm. That it's not about a meeting, it's not about a gathering.
Yes.
So if you had one hope, not meaning to hit there, right? Sorry. If you had one hope for 2023, what is it?
All my hope is in Jesus. This is the reason I'm a podcaster and not a singer. Right
If
there.
you had one hope for 2023, Brad Skelling,
So I would
in the
never
culture of
sing
First Priority,
again.
what is it?
I mean, it just comes back to revival. And like you said, it doesn't have to be mass revival, but that would be my hope.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I took George fishing the other day. We had a holiday, and
George is your youngest.
George is my youngest, my 10-year-old. He loves fishing. He loves walking on the bridges and along the river and throwing sticks more than he loves fishing. But yeah, when you go fishing, it's your goal to catch a whole bunch of really big fish. Like, I'd like to catch 16 large fish.
Yep.
It doesn't happen. I'm not that good of a fisherman. But that's not the point. That's the hope, though, right?
Yep.
And when you ask me what the hope is, I'm thrilled when I catch one. Because it is not an easy thing. Fishing is not an easy thing to do. You're throwing something in the water hoping that you're going to just catch something's attention that's down there 3 feet and you can't see
You've
it.
been watching The Chosen, haven't you?
I have not,
I can
actually.
see it. I can see it. Keep
Really?
going.
Is this part of that?
Keep going. No.
But you're thrilled when you catch a fish.
Yeah.
The one, you're thrilled,
Yeah.
but that's not your hope.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
And so the same is true. The analogy it's timeless because of that.
Yep.
And so, yeah, that's my hope for 2023, that the clubs that are in existence multiply and are effective, and that students don't just come for pizza, but they come because they are spiritually hungry, and that we start new districts, that Springfield and Cincinnati just are filled with flourish.
Yeah.
We hire staff, we have more people on mission, more volunteers, taking the hope of Christ to every student.
Good.
So how about you?
My hope is that all of us that call ourselves First Priority directors, coordinators, campus coaches, whatever layer of youth ministry that we live in, that all of us land in a place in 23 where our sole dependence is of what Jesus can do in our life, not what we can activate on our own.
It's good.
You know me well enough to know that I'm super self-driven.
Yep.
I like to have my hands on a number of things. I like to be involved in the process.
Yep.
And so that's easy to become very, very self-medicated, just all those things, right? I can talk myself into anything.
Sure.
And the idea that, no, Jesus is enough, both in the soul care of the people that are doing ministry and in the burden for students, training them, empowering them, watching kids come to Christ, plugging like that all activates.
Yep.
Because Jesus is enough. The rest of it is just tools that we use.
Good.
So that's my hope.
I like it. Cool. Well, I think that wraps up the show. Thanks everybody for listening to the wisdom and the banter and everything in between.
Yep. Good podcast, Brad. Thanks for the time and the discussion.
Thank you, Steve. Thanks everyone for listening. Please give us a 5-star review on the podcast platform of your choice and of your desire, because that helps keep those platforms getting the word out. And together we can take the hope of Christ to every student in the United States.
Here we go.
Until next week.
23.
Later.